Seeing how this was one of the first challenges I've ever been issued by one of my subscribers, I realized I had to deliver the challenge the best I can. So in order to do that, I decided to make this challenge slightly more difficult than what my subscriber had initially mentioned in the comment. So basically what he had asked me to do was use Cryostesia, a 1-2 punch shotgun, as well as Levi's Handshake. Never really specified what subclass I could use, but mainly Levi's Handshake works really well with combination blow top 3 Arc Strider, so that's a no-brainer. But I added a challenge to this run on my own, which was to finish this lost sector in less than 5 minutes. So that's an additional rule that I set in place, and these are going to be the rules that follow. So like the previous lost sectors, I am going to attempt this solo flawlessly, so I cannot die and I have to do this alone. I have to use whatever my subscriber had mentioned, and last but not least, the added challenge of finishing this under 5 minutes. So without delaying any further, let's get right into this video. Right off the bat, there really wasn't much build crafting because the 1-2 punch build is pretty standard that I've used it before in my solo flawless Pit of Heresy. Check that out if you want to see it. So actually, not much difference there. I will say what elemental well mods I will use though, which was Will of Tenacity, Reaping Wellmaker, Will of Ions, and Melee Wellmaker. These were the few things that I'm using. Mainly so my melee had more of an oomph to it, and also because some protection. Well, other than that, I used an Eagle's Edge sword, and I will get into that later. But for now, let's just push onwards. Now, there wasn't really anything too entertaining with the Lost Sector, mainly because of the Arc Burn that was set in place. So Arc Burn is one of the mods that is actually on this Master Lost Sector, which means that I would deal increased arc damage. That means that with Levi's Handshake and top 3 Arc Strider, I would basically be doing so much damage that I was capable of one-shotting most of the things that I faced. This also meant that I was also capable of getting one-shot by most of the things that I will face. I faced many challenges in this run, but to name a few, I would say that the Overload champions just being able to teleport even after they've been frozen so long as they were halfway through the animation was just bullshit. Another was, well, the snipers, because sniper shanks are solar shielded and sniper vandals crawl along the ground and avoid all my shots, making me go close to both of them to deal enough damage to ensure that they've been killed. But neither of these were as difficult as the one I set for myself, which was the 5-minute timer. Now, because of the 5-minute timer, it basically adds a little bit, well, a little bit would be an understatement now, wouldn't it? Because you had to basically rush through the entire run, you had to ensure that everything was done flawlessly, which means that you can't waste too much time freezing or refreezing Overload champions, and you had to get good enough RNG so that it doesn't really teleport halfway through, and you had to get good enough RNG to ensure that basically you don't get triple sniped when you're crossing the small chasm that leads up to the Lost Sector boss. Many a time I failed because of those situations I narrated before you, and some just pure carelessness. On one such occasion, I actually failed because I wasn't looking at the timer. And now you may be thinking that's a really stupid way to lose a run, but earlier in that run, I actually failed to kill that barrier champion. And that's what caused me to fail. I was so disappointed with that run. I more or less gave myself a timeout because such accidents can never happen when you're trying to do runs like this. Little did I know though, on the next run it was time to make history. Opening up with a sword swing, I glided across the map and built my combination blow. After which, I swiftly dispatched both of the Overload champions before letting the shanks blow up on themselves. Oh yes, this is a minor challenge that I set for myself, which was don't shoot the shank. Okay, taking my sword again, I skated across the map, built my combination charge again, and dispatch of the Overload champion. This triggers a bunch more exploding shanks to spawn, so let them explode and I'll get rid of the Overload and barrier champion. Using one of the lesser enemies, I built my Cryostesia shot, froze the sniper and got rid of him. That way I could preserve my combination blow so that when I freeze the overload, I could just punch him to death. Of course, after shooting him with my shotgun. Overload done, I got the barrier champion out, and now I was staring across the chasm with two snipers. Two sniper shanks specifically, facing me down. Now, this is why I love the Eager Edge sword so much. You can just dash across the chasm without taking that much damage. So I dashed across, got rid of the snipers, and went on. So there's a barrier champion here protecting a bunch of shanks, and fortunately enough for me, I managed to sneak up on it, kill it, and got rid of the sniper, which was the main target. After this, I was at the end game because everything else here was relatively easy, so long as I wasn't cocky or overconfident myself or don't make any stupid mistakes, I can definitely finish it. Plus the time was looking good. But you can see that I actually got cocky and I missed my Cryostesia shot, unfortunately, but I took a gamble and killed the Overload champion anyways, whatever. So next, I set my sights on damaging the Lost Sector boss just a little bit, enough for it to spawn the next barrier champion, get rid of the barrier champion, and swiftly dispatching of the Lost Sector boss. And just like that, I managed to clear the Lost Sector with 4 minutes and 12 seconds on the timer. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, please consider leaving a like or subscribe, because I did spend quite some time away from the limited time Guardian Games event just to play this thing. So, well, this challenge rather. And hopefully the person who made the comment, I'm not gonna even attempt to read your name because I'm afraid of butchering it, is, well, delighted that I attempted the challenge. And hey, I didn't use the sword to do damage, I just used it to skate around. I think that counts, right? I think what you guys will be seeing now in the endgame footage is actually me attempting this exact same build on a different Lost Sector, because I wanted to see if doing a different Lost Sector without Arc Burn is possible. But I think that was the wrong Lost Sector to choose, because on Master it had Overload Sniper Hobgoblins, and my god, are they extremely painful. If you don't instantly kill them, they'll just spam you to death with their void bolts or whatever you call it. And not to mention the unstoppable phalanx, which are just a pain in the ass to deal with, my god. Well, anyways, please leave a like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next challenge.